My name is Terry Vrijenhoek. I'm from the UMC Utrecht in the Netherlands. So I'm a geneticist, but I'm also advising the management team of our department, the Department of Genetics, on what genetics can bring for the future. I'm a big fan of DNA, and I would like everybody to experience their own DNA as well. Since the publication of the human genome, the human reference genome, basically the promise then was that we would cure all diseases and know all about our DNA. Turned out a little bit different. There's still a lot of questions. There may even have been more questions popped up than we got answered. But still, there's been a lot of developments in genetics, in the knowledge on our DNA, and it allowed us at least to increase our diagnostic capabilities. So we have been able, by the hand of our DNA, to assess diseases that were previously undiagnosed. So it is already being integrated with real-world information. Genomic information is being used in the clinic. It's been so for like 20 or 30 years. Started off with the diagnosis of Down syndrome regularly in the clinic, and we can now assess or provide a diagnosis for, hundreds of diseases in the clinic. So it is already being integrated into the real world. What we're still lacking is let's say the real world data that patients gather from day to day. So their public or their health records are being used in the clinic, but not so extensively as we would want to. Well, when we started with using genetic data, at least for healthcare, we could only look at a small portion of our DNA. We started off with a chromosome duplication that did not allow us to actually identify the individual based on their DNA. So it was only interrogating a small portion of our DNA. What we're now able to do is to basically analyze, sequence, read whole genomes, the whole DNA of an individual. And that allows us to potentially identify that individual. And that is being recognized and acknowledged by many institutions, legal, policy, ethical, as being a threat to the privacy of individuals. So I think we're in a quite unique situation where we potentially have all the information on DNA of many individuals, but it's really difficult to use those data without violating privacy or without regulating privacy. So we have been performing several cost-effectiveness studies, others have done so as well, where we basically try to compare at least a larger interrogation of our DNA called whole exome sequencing, compared it to classical technologies like Sanger sequencing, and we showed that it's actually cost effective to apply this genome-wide methodology technology. So that's already been assessed. What we don't do, or what we're still thinking about, what we're still developing, is a model that allows us to show the added value of these extra data that we're generating in the context of the health of the individual. And that's something that there's not really a solution for that, because it's very difficult to predict what the economic value or the value in general could be in the future for an individual. Same holds for preventative medicine, preventative treatments. It's very difficult to assess, to really measure how much you're preventing, how many costs you're preventing from implementing a certain treatment. One important barrier for us is our mindset. So we have been thinking about genetics as a diagnostic tool, and what we should consider it as a more broadly applied tool in society and in healthcare that can provide us information on our health status and not so much diagnose our disease. What we have to do is consider the decisions that were made in history that gave genetics the position that it has today. So it's very much a diagnostic tool, and not so much an information tool. And I think that's one of the barriers that we have to overcome. I hope there will be an app for that, so that everybody, not only patients in the hospital, but literally everybody, can make use of their DNA to get a day-to-day status on their health and to get day-to-day advice on how they can proceed. They should still be autonomous on their decision on how to proceed, but at least they will have their DNA information available 24/7.